Okay, so this week we're talking about Saltburn.
I was surprised that this was your suggestion.
This was one of those films that really frustrated me because it felt like there was an awesome film in there somewhere.
Oh, interesting. Because when you messaged me saying, let's talk about Saltburn, and I was like, I didn't like it, and you were like, perfect. I assumed that was because you did like it.
No, I mean, I liked elements of it really, really well. And as I say, I think to me, sometimes it's more interesting to look at stuff which is not universally decided on either way, right?
True.
So her first film was Promising Young Woman, right?
Mm-hmm. Which I've not
Emerald
seen.
Fennell.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've not seen it either. Great research. But she won an Oscar.
Look, I rewatched Saltburn. I think that's enough research.
Yeah. Well, she won an Oscar for her first film, and she came out of really high-level British drama.
Emilia Perez won Oscars.
Yeah, and that was one of the greatest films that's ever been made. So what's your point? So she'd done really good stuff. She did Killing Eve, right?
Oh, okay.
There's not a lot of British TV like that really sort of makes a splash outside of the UK. And when it does come up, it's valuable. It's good to see. I mean, like Baby Reindeer was the last one on the circuit.
Yeah.
For the Emmys last year, right? And then I think there's another one. Oh, Adolescence. Obviously, we've talked about Adolescence. Yeah. So whenever that sort of stuff comes out, it's really nice to see. But Saltburn, it's actually funny. Have you seen Brideshead Revisited?
No.
Okay, because we were watching Saltburn and I turned to Alana and said, oh, so this is Brideshead Revisited for the modern age. Because it's Brideshead Revisited is like gay aristocrats in a country house.
I mean, that sounds fun.
It is fun. It's very good. It's a very good mini-series from, I want to say, like the 80s or 90s. Jeremy Irons is in it.
Oh, wow.
I said that to Alana, and then moments later in the film, one of them mentions Evelyn Waugh, who wrote Brideshead Revisited.
Wow. When is it a reference and when are you just stealing it?
Well, exactly, right? It takes a lot from that. As I say, I mean, Brideshead Revisited is really good, and there is something really good in Saltburn. There's a lot of really good actors in Saltburn. I mean, what did you think about the cast?
Yeah, there are some really good actors. I love Rosamund Pike and Richard E. Grant. I think for me,
she's one of my favourites.
They were just, they're so, so good. Carey Mulligan is also really good. She's kind of unrecognisable in it in such a small role.
Yeah.
Rewatching it, I had forgotten that Reece Shearsmith is at the beginning as the professor.
Oh, God, he is, isn't he? From, Inside Number 9, League of Gentlemen. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. But, obviously not the leads. I am working my way up to them. I actually really like Jacob Elordi because the only other thing I've really seen him in was Priscilla. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's playing a horrible character, but he's so good in it and he's so different. He's always going to look like Jacob Elordi, but it's a completely different performance. And I mean, we've talked about my thoughts on Barry Keoghan before. I do feel like I have had a slight shift in that I started listening to some interviews with him and he's just a really nice guy. Like I really, and he's quite young and I feel like he's doing a pretty good job. I don't love the roles that he plays and I don't think he has quite the range, or maybe it's more about the roles that he's in. Like he's always getting cast as these fucking weirdos. Yeah. And he's good at that, but I haven't seen him in something where he is, I suppose
he's a bit weird looking though, isn't he? Right?
Yeah, but I don't really feel like it's fair to talk about that because I feel like it's something that...
But that's just how casting works, unfortunately, right? Like it's hard to put him, for a casting director, in a role where he's just the leading man, right? He's just the normal leading guy because Jacob Elordi's taking that role.
That's true. And actually, the two films that I saw recently with Barry Keoghan in that also changed my mind a little bit on him are Bring Them Down and Bird.
Okay, I've not seen those ones yet.
In Bring Them Down, he is very good and he does play a really complex, not quite a weird... I mean, he's still a bit odd, but he's not like a weirdo.
Right, okay.
And then in Bird... He's a bit mad in it, but he's not, I wouldn't say he's weird. He's just, he's a very, very young father.
I mean, that sounds more interesting.
Of like teenage children, which is interesting as well because in Bring Them Down, so this is like the same year. In the same year, he plays the son of middle-aged people and also the father of a teenager. It's just like, has nobody decided how old he is?
Well, I did think that watching Saltburn, I was...
Oh, he's way too old for it.
Yeah, I mean, so he's in his early 30s and he's playing a teenager.
But so is Jacob Elordi.
Well,
way
yeah.
too old for
Is
it.
Jacob Elordi the same age?
I think so.
He's 5 years younger. 5 years younger. He's a little bit younger than Barry Keoghan.
Oh, okay.
When you were talking about the kinds of roles that he plays, though, where he plays these creepy, weird kind of characters, I 100% know that he does do that in Saltburn. But for me, the big failing of Saltburn was actually not leaning into that more.
Yeah, that's interesting. I can kind of relate because I did enjoy it a lot more on a rewatch.
I can imagine I might, yeah.
It was so much more interesting when you know the twist.
I mean, I knew it when I was watching it.
Yeah, okay.
I could see it coming, but I just wanted them to play it harder. Like, have you seen Kind Hearts and Coronets?
Yeah, the Alec Guinness one.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
It does a similar thing so much better.
And that's going way back. That's Ealing comedy, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's what, the 40s or the 50s
Yeah.
or something? And so it's Alec Guinness playing...
Like 7 different characters.
Yeah, exactly. He plays
like
he plays all
pre-Eddie
of these.
Murphy.
Yeah, he's doing the clumps, right?
Yeah.
Nutty Professor. But it's him playing all of these different characters, which are all the aristocratic members of this family, and the lead character is going around knocking them off so that he can be the last one in line for the inheritance. And Saltburn, big spoiler alert, is doing something a little bit similar, right?
And it's also Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yes.
The first time I watched it, there was all this hype. I didn't watch it at the cinema. I thought I had left it long enough for the hype to kind of die down in my head, which I have to do when everyone's like, oh my God, you have to see this film. I'm like, well, I need to wait a bit because I'm just going to hate it.
That's why I'm talking about it now.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing it now.
Everyone kept talking about how shocking it was, and I didn't find it that shocking.
No.
And yeah, my friend Tom, who hopefully we'll have on the podcast at some point, when everyone was talking about how shocking it was like, straight people need to get out more. And I could, really saw that this time. Like, yeah, and we don't have to go into the details, but it's really not that shocking.
No, there's just a quite a lot of gayness going on, right?
It's not even that. It's the drinking from the drain. And
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And,
I mean,
even
that, I had heard about that moment, and in practice, maybe it is just because I'd been inured to it by having heard about it already. But in practice, I was like, okay, this is he's been creepy weirdo.
Yeah, when they said, everyone kept going on about this grave scene, and I thought it was going to be like actual necrophilia, and it is not at all.
No,
It's
he's
not
fucking
really
some dirt.
not. Yeah, he's just a bit mad. But the twist for me felt really frustrating because kind of what you're saying about leaning into the weirdness more. I felt like this sort of flashback of, he did all these things. Was like, so? We kind of knew that's what he was doing in a way.
But this is it, because they take us... So there were moments where they take us to the precipice of, he's fucking with them. Like, there's a moment where he has a conversation with Rosamund Pike.
Oh, outside. I love that scene.
Exactly. He starts seeding ideas in her head about her friend, I believe, about Kerry Mulligan's character.
Poor dear Pamela, yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's like, oh, well, is everything that she says?
If it's true, yeah.
Exactly. And it allows her to feel a different emotional range about this character. And that moment, as well as the moment where he goes down on the sister. It was like, oh yes, okay, good, we're getting to it. He's fucking with them. He's taking charge in some sort of fashion. But then we would pull back from that as though we don't know what's going on. Yeah. As though you've kept the twist secret. This is why I say I saw what was coming from very early on, because we've already done it and then pulled back from it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I guess what I mean more is because it all starts with the bike, right? And the pub. But I was rewatching it.
That was nice.
I don't think it was, because the first time I saw it, it felt like he's been fucking with them because he got this opportunity and he wants to. And then there's these hints of it's Saltburn, it's the house, you can't get away from it, and blah, blah, blah. But then the fact that he puts the drawing pin in the bike, then there's the question of So when did he start planning this? Because actually,
The first time he saw him.
but I find it so much more interesting if Jacob Elordi had a flat tire and he goes past and then he's like, oh, I could help him. And then it's an opportunistic thing rather than a premeditated, I'm going to make sure he has a flat tire. And I just didn't find that as scary.
I liked it because it was one of the few things I didn't see coming. I think that was really why I liked it, because I had already, like, so with the way that he poisons Jacob Elordi's character, I could see that happening in real time. Mm-hmm. That wasn't shocking to me because it was like, he has the bottle, Jacob Elordi drinks from the bottle, the next time we see Jacob Elordi, he's dead. Right. That was not complicated to me. Mm-hmm. Whereas like the bike thing, it did raise sort of more questions of how, but again, it raised more questions of how conniving he is, how ahead of the game he is. But then we had all of these moments later on where he didn't seem quite as far ahead of things as he should have been. It was a confusing character for me because just make him a mastermind.
Yeah, that didn't bother me so much because in some ways it's more interesting that he's a bit more complicated. But actually talking about the mastermind thing, one thing that I felt on a rewatch, which I remembered from watching it the first time, you know, the other Oxford student that he's friends with at the beginning, well, not friends with, but they're like losers together at the beginning.
The nerdy dude.
The nerdy guy.
Yeah.
Really creepy.
Oh yeah. He's like incel vibes.
I'd completely forgotten about it after the first viewing, but then when I was rewatching it, I was like, why didn't more happen with him? Is he literally just there to be like, ooh, they're both so creepy?
He really looks like Dennis Nielsen, doesn't he?
Doesn't he?
Yes, that's who it is. Yes, he's just up to look like Dennis Nielsen.
His voice as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he was good, that actor.
He was very good.
Ewan Mitchell's the actor.
Having got rid of all of that stuff, having watched it once, because also there's the other element of like, you know, everyone kept being like, ooh, period drama. And for me, if I was at college at the time, it doesn't feel like a period drama.
No.
I know it is. But it was like...
How old does that make you when you lived a period of
right?
history? Yeah.
I guess that bothered me slightly less this time, but it was still kind of annoying. Like it could have been set at any time and it's not a time that I think is particularly visually interesting or like says much. But what I appreciated more this time was the class interrogation and the dialogue. Again, it goes back to Rosamund Pike and Richard E. Grant. Their delivery is so brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the things I felt when I watched it the first time was that because it's talented Mr. Ripley, I just felt like it wasn't doing anything new. And I also felt like it was a bit rich for Emerald Fennell to be commenting on class when she's a jewellery heiress.
Yeah.
But... obviously, she knows this world.
It is hard to authentically make this kind of stuff without having a pretty good understanding of this world, right? I'm sure Evelyn Waugh was not like, it was not from the proletariat, as it were.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
There's all these subtle indicators of class, which it would be very hard for someone. So it makes sense that that Emerald Fennell would make this kind of film because
she knows it.
You know it, right? I mean, I've met people like this. And it doesn't feel good to be in the Barry Keoghan role.
So one of the things that shifted it for me after watching it the first time is I spoke to one of my friends who is from Liverpool, from quite a wealthy background, and we were at uni together, and he loved Saltburn because he said that the assumption by wealthy people that because you're from Liverpool or the North that you're poor, he could really relate to, and also the desire to fuck with those people. And so rewatching it, I could kind of see it in a different way, because the first time you're like, why does he lie? Like it must just be all this manipulation. But rewatching it, you can kind of see the progression, and that's where I am starting to shift on Barry Keoghan, because it is a very good performance where he doesn't just start off by saying all this horrible shit about his family. Jacob Elordi is dying to hear it. He does just give him what he wants.
That's why he tells him that his dad's died, right? Because he's in a moment where he's losing him.
Yeah.
And so he knows exactly what to say to pull him back.
And it works. And then you get the mirroring of that with his mother, who is just also so desperate for these sub stories, basically.
Oh, she absolutely loves it, doesn't it? Because the Kerry Mulligan character is poor Pamela, right?
Yeah, exactly.
She literally has someone that she keeps around as a pet to feed that.
Yeah.
You're saying about this sort of gradual building and the complexity of the Barry Keoghan character, which I get. I understand why you would do that because it creates this sort of like deeper sense of realism, maybe. I just found it more fun in the moments when they leaned into, oh, he's fucking with them. And he's maybe not a mastermind, but he's out thinking them. He can see a few steps ahead. And the moments where we put him backwards from that, I just want to just go full steam ahead. I just want to enjoy it. I just want to go Kind Hearts and Coronets, where we're enjoying that vibe.
Yeah.
And we're enjoying that progression of him as a character. And that's just a personal preference thing. I'm sure she made the film that she wanted to make. And maybe it's more correct to make it this way. Maybe it's more realistic to make it this way. But him at the end, dancing around the house, and even like fucking with Rosamund Pike before he takes the tube out, right? That's the character I want to see. I loved him, but I hated him. There is something fun about that.
Yeah, he says, you make my blood run cold.
Yes. Yeah,
there's a real balance to it, isn't there? Because I do think the complexity is important, but then it makes a different film if he is full steam ahead. But you're right that there are the moments where he just instantly knows what to say. Like, when he goes to see...
Yeah.
when he goes to see Felix after Felix is giving him the cold shoulder because he's got with his sister.
Yes. And Farley has told Felix that, right?
Yeah, and he just...
plays him like a fiddle.
He lies so quickly and easily and without overdoing it. Those moments are really interesting. And I think that's why the ending bothered me, with the cutting back to the thumbtack and the typing on the computer. It's like, of course he was waiting for her in the coffee shop. I don't need to see that he was typing nothing on his computer to know that.
I did laugh. I found it funny. That's what I'm saying. I mean, maybe it's just a personal preference, personal taste thing. For me, the disappointment of this film is I engaged with those moments so much that when it came to a moment like where Farley had that song on the karaoke, "I Pay Your Rent," I think is the chorus of it. And so he tricks him into singing that song in that moment. When we take that step backwards with that character, I was so on side with him winning, I guess, or going full steam ahead, that those moments pulled it back and made it more muddy for me.
I have a similar feeling about the bit with the sister's suicide, because when you get that shot, because I obviously remembered what happened, but then seeing the sequence, and one thing I was impressed with on a rewatch, the editing is really good. And this is very tight.
Yeah.
And going straight to her in the bath with all the blood, that is really good. But then you get this thing of him just placing the razor blades. Like, why? It was better that he's actually killed her than he just left the razor blades nearby.
Again, a little bit muddy and a little bit passive when he really has taken an active role in so many other things.
Thinking about it now, it had a bit of an Addams Family tone to it. Because you know the bit where it just cuts to the butler holding the two umbrellas, and one is over the parents and one is over him. I
can't believe I've not mentioned the butler, by the way, because I was saying repeatedly throughout the film to Alana that he was my favourite character.
Of course he
Duncan,
was your
right?
Character.
Duncan the butler.
When he just walked, when they're all looking for Felix.
Yeah.
And he just walks in and looks at Barry Keoghan and then walks out, and it's so brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, everything he did was wonderful. That's Paul Rees, right?
Yeah, really good. Because that, again, when I was watching it, feeling like maybe he's going to do something weird.
Oh, God, yeah. I was like, is this going to be Duncan's film?
Yeah,
First few times that we see him. I just liked him so much. He just sort of stole those scenes for me early on. We haven't actually touched on one of the very interesting scenes. Again, this is another him getting found out, backsliding from him being a mastermind kind of sections, but it maybe is a bit more interesting than some of the other times that happens, where Felix takes him to his house.
Oh, to his parents, yeah.
Yeah. What did you think about that scene?
When you mentioned this backsliding thing earlier, that was one of the scenes that I was thinking of, because... again, it doesn't quite go all the way, does it? Like the fact that, I was kind of waiting for it, rewatching it, and they go on this road trip, and it takes him a long time to notice where they are, which I thought was a bit fucking stupid.
Well, because everything is relative povo to him, right?
As in...
to Felix or to...
No,
you mean,
but I mean to Oliver. Like, they're literally... It's
I see.
until there's a sign for Preston. Like, I'm not being funny. If I was driving from wherever the fuck to Reading, I'd know when we're getting to Reading. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't need a sign to see it. knowing how much is at stake.
Yeah.
And how mad Oliver is. This character, for me, would have done something else. He would have jumped out the car. I don't know. I expected more.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to actually go to the house. Once they're in the house, the way that Felix responds, I thought was interesting because it ties in with that very cold detachment that we also see later when the deaths start happening, where they're like, you know, trying to have lunch still.
I did love that scene.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, that was, and again, that's Rosamund Pike and Richard E. Grant absolutely owning the film, right?
Richard E. Grant, when they first find him, and he's like, "We need to get you a jumper."
Yes, my poor boy, you're just cold. We just need to warm you up.
Yeah,
get you in the house.
yeah, which is heartbreaking.
Oh.
But then behind that, you get Rosamund Pike, who's just like, "Okay, let's go for lunch," and it's
it's so perfectly set up earlier when Farley is banished, right?
When Farley is banished, also when Pamela. When they find out,
they say they're going to. Yeah.
No, they're going to London. Why? For a funeral. Oh, who died? Pamela. And they're like, oh, what? You're like really good friend that lived here for a year.
Yeah, but the fact that we've set up a couple of times already that when someone is out of the picture, we don't talk about them anymore.
Yeah.
And that's sort of done with, and then that is paid off in that scene in such a fantastic way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Loved all of that.
Yeah. How do we get onto that? The parents. Seeing the parents.
Barry Keoghan's house.
Yeah.
I get what you mean, though, about like he would have stopped it.
He would have stopped it, yeah.
Right?
Wouldn't have gone.
He's a smart enough character, regardless of whether we're having this backsliding or not.
There's no way he would have gone.
Any character that's conniving like this, because obviously at this point he's planning a few steps ahead, right? He's thinking ahead a bit.
Yeah.
The idea that he wouldn't stop it as well. Although, is there an element of, are we supposed to assume that this is part of what drives him to the breaking point of killing Jacob Elordi?
Yeah, but then it's like a reverse engineered, he needs to kill him, so this needs to happen. I feel like it works in reverse, but it doesn't work in the way that it plays out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, he needs a reason to kill him, and so him finding out about his real family is a big enough reason. But it's like, okay, so then have Farley find out and tell him, have him go separately, or bring his parents to the party, you know, like we don't have to have this weird. We
just need to see the dad. That's all we need to see.
Even just the way that the mother opens, because he keeps being like, oh, she's really sorted herself out. She's got this house. Look, it's lovely. And then she opens the door and she's just like a middle class woman. Even
if they weren't as middle class as they ended up being, just seeing the father, I think, is enough.
Yeah.
Like that big of a lie is enough in a narrative sense.
For sure.
To serve the same function that we get to.
But then the same thing with this backsliding and the fact that it doesn't make sense is going to the parents and him not stopping it.
Yeah.
That already doesn't work.
Yep.
Jacob Elordi finding out about that, yeah, he doesn't want to cancel the party, fine, but like the fact that he's like, no, of course I'm not going to tell my family because it's embarrassing. Don't believe that.
They would salivate over those details.
Oh yeah, that's true as well.
Right?
Yeah.
They would absolutely love to hear that he's this big fraud, right?
Which is way more interesting scene and gives him a lot more motive.
100%.
Just to go off on one a little bit.
Oh yeah. Cook.
We were talking separately from the podcast. You were telling me about this new Beatles film, right?
Oh yeah. Cast all the hot white boys. Yeah.
So it's Barry Keoghan, Paul Mescal. It's not Jacob Elordi, but it's like, you know, those types.
Harris Dickinson.
Oh yeah, of course.
As John Lennon. Paul Mescal as Paul McCartney.
Wait. Harris Dickinson as John Lennon.
I watched Baby Girl yesterday, which I think we're going to talk about on another episode. But
yeah, I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, he's so hot right now.
I mean, I would agree that he's hot. I don't think he's John Lennon.
No, absolutely not. No, I mean, none of this is all wrong for me. This is all wrong for me. Paul Mescal, Paul McCartney, Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr.
Is Paul Mescal Paul McCartney just because they have the same name?
Exactly. Yeah. This is as far as casting goes now. It's like, oh wait, Paul, done.
That would be easy.
He won't get confused on set when we call him Paul. And then Joseph Quinn is George Harrison as well. So that's the hot white boys Beatles.
So on this, when I was looking up Saltburn earlier, on Wikipedia it says, in joining the cast of Saltburn, Keoghan had to drop out from the role of Caracalla in Gladiator 2.
And then they gave it to Paul Mescal.
No, Paul Mescal plays Gladiator. He doesn't. So Caracalla is the Emperor.
Oh, I've not seen it yet. Oh wait, so who plays the Emperor?
I don't know, some other white boy. Like,
Oh my God.
but it was just so funny because, first of all, very good decision from Barry Keoghan to do that because, I mean, obviously, because Saltburn and... Was it Saltburn and Killing of the Sacred Deer that came out in the same year?
Killing of a Sacred Deer, I feel like was a little bit...
No, it was Banshees. It was Banshees.
Right, yes.
And...
Yeah, that was a little bit earlier, Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2017.
So yeah, very, very good decision on his part, but also I just found it so funny having spoken to you about, like, why is Paul Mescal and all of these guys doing it? It's like, oh, yeah, he was going to be in Gladiator.
Yeah, they really do have a very limited casting pool that they're looking at for a lot of these things now.
There's just not enough young white men, Max.
I know. It's we are deprived of
of opportunity.
There's so many so many young white men that I guess.
I'm so interested in where you finish this sentence.
I guess just aren't up to snuff is what I was going to say. You know, there's only 4 or 5 of them that are any good. There's so many of them trying to get roles, and I think this is the thing about acting, right? Is there's so many people that are trying to do it that are no good at it. Yeah. That when you find someone who's pretty decent,
finally,
you just got to cast him in everything, right? I can't imagine that a quick 6 degrees of Nick Holt will be difficult for this. I feel like we must be able to get this in a degree, right? There's so many British actors around his sort of world.
Yeah, there must be. Maybe it's a Richard E. Grant.
He must have been in something with
Barry Keoghan.
Richard E. Grant, or Jacob Elordi's pretty recent on the scene, isn't he?
Barry Keoghan's been in stuff with
Pike,
Colin
maybe?
Farrell, and I feel like that's maybe a good...
Nicholas Hoult has been in so many bloody films. You see, I don't watch a lot of... This sounds terrible.
Oh, I've got it. Colin Farrell, The Gentleman, Hugh Grant.
Barry Keoghan to Colin Farrell.
Barry Keoghan,
to
Colin Farrell.
The Gentleman to Hugh
Grant.
Right, okay, yeah.
You want to get it in fewer?
Yeah, it looks like there was an adaptation of Watership Down that was on the books that was going to get made that didn't end up happening.
Okay.
Which would have been Rosamund Pike and Nick Holt. It surprises me that they've not been in anything together, actually. I like her so much that I watched, I think, definitely more than I should have done of Wheel of Time. I can't remember how much I watched of it, maybe like a season and a half, but I just think she's fabulous.
Yeah.
It just feels like there must be a one step there.
What about Rhys Shearsmith?
Oh, again, yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. He must have worked with... Is Carey Mulligan in anything X-Men-y or like any of that kind of world? Great Gatsby.
Oh, no, he was in... I was like, Paddington. But Nick Holt was in Garfield, not Paddington.
Okay, so yeah, she was in Far From the Madding Crowd, which feels like the sort of thing Nick Holt might have popped up in, but he didn't, so that's not helpful.
What about Paul Rees? Because you liked him. What's he been in?
I did like him. I thought he was very good. He fits into that wonderful category of actor.
Like an oh him.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So Midnight Mass, the lead actor in that, in my mind, I say lead actor, he's the priest in it. The lead guy is Hamish Linklater. That's his name, Hamish Linklater. He fits into he's an American actor, but he fits into a similar category of oh him and can play like really intense, weird roles. Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can get it in less than 2, you know.
There's got to be so Paul Rees television.
Did we have a quick one from Barbie? Because Emerald Fennell is in Barbie.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's pregnant Barbie. Midge.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Yeah, because she's done a few bits. Yeah, acting here and there, isn't she?
I should watch Promising Young Women. I just never want to.
Yeah, same. He's not in that, is he?
No, I was just looking.
Nick Holt. No, that would be easy. Pride and Prejudice, she's in. He must have been in something with. Oh, that just circles back again. I did that. It's Rosamund Pike. I don't think we're going to get a better one than what you've got. I Care a Lot was so good as well.
Oh, it was so good.
She just.
Rosamund Pike is good in everything.
She's fantastic.
Did you see Gone Girl?
I was actually about to say I haven't seen Gone Girl, and that's the one that I do need to watch because I know that I'm going to enjoy it.
Do you know what? I'd read the book, and the book and the screenplay are both written by Gillian Flynn, and she had it in her contract that she had to have final say over the teaser, over the trailer, because she knew that if she didn't, they would give away the twist.
Oh, that's interesting.
And going back to casting, Gone Girl as an adaptation is one of the best adaptations that I've seen of a book because it's the same writer. Except there's one character where in the book he's like this dark-haired kind of, he's a bit creepy, but you're also intrigued by him. And they cast Neil Patrick Harris. It just ruins the whole thread of that storyline because you're
bizarre.
Like, it's Barney. Like, no, it's not.
I don't know if you give a shit about this at all, but what do you think of the Snape casting for Harry Potter?
As in Alan Rickman?
No, the new casting.
What do you mean new casting?
Have you not seen this?
I haven't seen any of this.
Oh, seriously? They've cast Papa Esidu as Snape in the new Harry Potter TV series.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I love him as an actor. So that's quite surprising.
Wonderful, wonderful actor. The big conversation online about it has been there's a lot of instances where Snape is being bullied for being different and he's a shifty character that people don't trust and the race swapping of that gives a different context to like Harry Potter's dad and Harry Potter, like, you know, coming away from a class with Snape and being like, I don't trust that guy. It feels like a really weird character to race swap.
It would have been way better to cast him as James Potter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's many characters. I mean, cast him as Lupin, cast him as, you could do Sirius Black. Yeah. I mean, there's many characters. That would be a bit on the nose, wouldn't it? Yeah. That would be just as bad. What am I talking about?
Wow. Okay. I mean, why is there a new Harry Potter coming out?
They're doing it as a TV show. I think John Lithgow is going to be the Dumbledore.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
John Lithgow's Dumbledore.
What? The fuck?
Yeah.
I love
Nick
John
Frost
Lithgow.
as Hagrid.
No.
Nick Frost as Hagrid. I'm not making this up
Nick
as well.
Frost can't fucking act. What are they doing?
Unless
Simon Pegg is in it. It just doesn't make sense. Well, Simon Pegg is Fluffy.
Simon Pegg is Hagrid's motorbike, is the voice of his motorbike.
Okay, that I would watch.
Yeah. Spin-off.
Oh my God. You've just completely... I was like so ready for a chill chat about Saltburn, which I'd already got over being angry about. And now you dropped this Harry Potter reboot and I'm just furious.
Well, stay tuned for another episode where we get into that, I guess.